This is the Reflex Racing RX28 SE Gen 1 that I use for the West Coast PN Regionals in modified class. Yeah, sorry it took a while. I actually wasn't planning on posting a video of the setup until after the Worlds, but I decided not to race the Worlds. Anyways, for the Regionals, I am running the Mako body. I ran the Mako body. It's the only Lexan body that I use. I'm sure there's other Lexan body that's good out there to race, but I prefer this because it's rounded in the front. It doesn't ever get caught, and it's sturdy. It lasts me for a while. I have one that I made and raced since April, and it's still good. Yeah. And this is the car. Right now it's set up for our layout, which is a slow layout. So I am running the gold springs in the front and firm PN firms with 20mm rims. But at the PN regional race, I was using the 19mm PN rims with 0.5mm offset. And for the tires, I am running the KS1038 that I cut. Oh, I didn't really cut it. I just pretty much just scuffed it. I don't measure my tires to a certain diameter. I just use the 1038, scuff it a little, and then use it for like bigger race and stuff. The 20mm, it's usually just for club racing. Usually you'd find me running a 19mm in the front just for that extra steering. But on that day, we had a lot of steering. On that day, the traction was high and it was pretty warm that weekend. So my setup was these front wheel tire setup, and I had to use the GL Racing green springs. These came from my all-wheel drive Julia, and at the time I was running the caster shim at 0.5 back there. And I didn't have this in the front, just the 0.5 here. Right now I have, I think 0.2. Anyways, this one doesn't matter, it's just this. I just put that in there to lessen the play. But yeah, so that's my setup in the front. Springs, the caster, the wheels, and the blue Kyosho 30,000 grease. Also for the front bumper, I put tape back there just to tilt the bumper up a little. I think I can see it. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video. It's tilted up just a tad because when I don't have that strip of tape down there, the front bumper, I feel like it's hitting the track. Maybe it's not, but it just feels like it's like drooping down. The front's like, especially this corner, feels like it's hitting the track. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me, but I just put a little bit. I didn't put too much because you can actually crack that bumper on a hard hit. So I just only put a little bit, and it's only half. I didn't put it all the way here, just after the 2 screws. This way, the bumper is tilted upward. So that's what I did with that. For the front ride height, I normally would run 2 and 1.8. But on that PN regional, I found out that I can get away with 1.6, 1.5, 1.6, and 1.7. So that's what I ran. 1.7 and 1.5, 1.6. After the race though, my car was like, I would constantly check the ride height after each race or each heat or each main, and this dropped to 1.5 and then 1.4, but still the car was still running really good. Then I would race it back up to 1.7 with the battery, right? When I measured the ride height, put the battery in, press it down a little, and then check it. I check it here, and then I check it here. The car is slightly towed out, always with my Reflex Racing. The car just likes it with a little bit of tow out. It just seems easier to drive on the straightaway. I can follow someone until I get tired of following, then set up a pass. This car can actually set up a pass. It just listens to the driver. What else in the front? The gray, I don't know if it matters. Gray, black, upper arm. I probably won't be able to tell the difference, but that's what I have there, and it worked. Also, you want to use the Reflex Racing screws because they don't stick out. They don't stick out of the chassis. I had the PN before. The PN was sticking out. It's not like this, even with the chassis. I don't know if you can see that. This orange is just for when the car is upside down, they can see my car. That's why I have that there. Orange. This fluorescent green or yellow. And for the middle part of the car, here, I have 5 grams of weight. You can't see under there. I just bought this lead tape from Amazon, and I put it in there. It's under the receiver and the speed control. Speaking of the speed control, it's in Blinky mode. I pretty much only used Blinky mode in my mod and 3500 cars. It's easier, it's more linear for me. Definitely a lot easier to drive, and it's not too aggressive. Also the battery male side, I glued it on the speed control. This way when I put the battery in there, I don't have to use 2 hands. Let me get the battery. How I have it set up, put the battery in, and plug the battery, right? And then of course the rubber band. Then when I'm done, I don't have to yank on the battery tabs, the battery connector. Just push this in the middle. Because what happened before was I keep pulling it, and eventually in the middle of the race, it happened to me twice, these would just come off or come loose, and I didn't like that. It's just causing issue during the race, right? So it's better doing it this way. At least I'm pushing the connector and not the wires. For the shock, I did use the pink spring, and also the Kyosho 30,000 grease, and I put 1/2 mil of droop in the back. If you notice what these white stuff are, those are cotton that I took out from a Q-tip, because there's a little bit of play in there, and I don't want any play in the back end of the car. I don't mind the front. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. If you don't want that play, the car just feels different. It just feels like the front end is too twitchy. It's kind of hard to follow someone with the twitchy front end. That's why I don't mind. It's not an issue. Some people, they worry too much about that play. They want to remove it or just put a little bit of play. I don't worry too much about it. This car is good. When I run it at that PN regional race, the car is good. The confidence was high because the car was working really good. The blue one, it was working good, but I like this one better. It just absorbs the bumps more than the black one. The black one, sometimes when I corner, the back end kind of hops a little, and I don't like that. For the side damper, I have I'm using the blue as well. Oops. The blue grease as well, and I don't clean it every run. I didn't clean it actually that day. I just left it. I cleaned it on Sunday morning, and then the remains I didn't clean it anymore. So you're supposed to, but I kind of got burnt out. Just too much work. And for the motor, I don't drive 5500. But then after the first qualifier on Saturday, I realized I won't be able to keep up running a 4500 or a slow 5500, the NHX motor. I won't be able to keep up with that motor, so I forced myself to learn the 5500 GL. This is actually, in my motor tester, this is actually 5900 kV. So anyway, I learned how to drive the car with this fast motor the day of the race. Yep, that's exactly what I did. I just figured I need to force myself to learn how to drive this car if I want to keep up with the rest of the other guys, right? The other 5500 I have is only 5200, 5300 kV. This one is 59, so this is a lot faster. And this is my fastest motor, actually. It's I like that motor. After running that, I actually enjoyed this motor, that now it feels a little slower than it did when I first drove it on that race weekend. Now it just feels like I want a 6500 now, but I probably don't need anything faster. But anyway, for that day, on that day, I was using 13 tooth pinion and 53, but on the current layout, but I should have what I should have done was I should have used 12 at least. The 13, I think it wasn't that fast. I mean, it was not fast in field. It's too fast on the straightaway. I should have used this 12 tooth. Right now I'm using 12 tooth and it feels like spot on. I like that. I tried the 11 tooth. I didn't like it. 12 is good. Still using the oh, by the way, this is the Gen 1, and I'm still using the Gen 1 side links. There is no play in there. If there is, I would for sure tighten it, but there isn't any. See, usually you'd feel a click here, there, here, or these two. I don't have any of that. I don't like that play. That's why I put cottons in there. Also, for the rear tires, I used the Marka Radial 15s, and I still use them. This is probably my favorite tires. Not very many run this locally, but yeah, it was actually sold out. So when they had it back in stock, I bought a lot. I bought from Italy, I bought from Singapore, I bought quite a few. But now I race actively, so I don't know what to do with those. Probably sell it. Yes, I ran the radials, 20 millimeter rims, did not true them. I use glue in the front, yes, and in the back. I don't use double-sided tape. It just won't hold in the mod class. And I also glued the inside sidewalls and the outside sidewalls. If it's spinning out or the front is understeering, I would scuff it the corners a little with the sandpaper. And the ball diff, I'm using Kyosho ball diffs on all of my cars. For this car, Carbide diff balls in the circle, not in the oval. And also running ceramic bearings on this car. because the regular bearings, they don't last that long, and I don't want to have to deal with removing and rebuilding and cleaning. I want it to stay consistent. Sometimes when the bearing one side is grainy, the car, when you hit the throttle, the car can pull to one side, and I don't want to have to deal with that. On that day I use a brand new ceramic bearings. Then after the race, I remove it and put a regular bearings for, club race. It's only used for racing. I also didn't remove the grease. I left the grease in the bearings. What else? I think on that race I was using the brass or the steel. Was it brass or steel? I think it was brass. I can't remember, but it was in carbon fiber. However, after that race, I noticed one side was lower than the other. So I removed it and put carbon fiber. That's why I now have carbon fiber in there. But I swear it wasn't carbon fiber. If it's not the brass, it's the steel. Whichever one that came with the Gen 1 RX28 SE. That's what I used. Yeah, I think that's it. The car was really, really good on that day. It's this RX28, man. When you buy RX28, it doesn't matter Gen 1, Gen 2. It doesn't matter if you have the KISS front end, the AA arm, or the SE brass chassis or the steel chassis. Just follow the manual and add toe out, and then show up at a race. It's ready to go. That's all you need to do. That's why I like this car. It's I spend most of my time driving. I don't have to chase setup, and the car always tracks straight. It's always tracking straight. Some cars it tracks straight today, tomorrow, I don't know, man, start chasing setup. This one it's not like that. So yeah, that's the car.